There are many such cases in this world. We talk, when there is an incident, there is a murder or there is a rape, there is a dacoity, and that case is not solved. So get a little angry. Then we also shout at the police. News comes on TV, in newspapers. We are constantly lagging behind this case. Today we will talk about a case which has remained unsolved for many years. In this case, all the policemen and detective investigative agency tried to solve this case and failed. Even today, there are many such cases in this world. There are many such, which have not been solved after 100 years. What was the reason for that? What was not? But the thing to think about is that, a murder case happened and the family member of the one who was murdered has the right to know that whatever happened to his child, who did it? Why did that? But they spend their whole life. Even many people of that family died, and even after leaving this world, they do not get the answer to the question that who did the crime that happened in their house? Who was the murderer? Who was the culprit? What could be more painful than this? Every member of that family lives every day in the hope that tomorrow may be revealed and I will find out what was wrong with my child. Why was he killed? Who was the murderer? How was the face of the murderer? What was his name? It is very easy to say, but very difficult to feel it. You ask those parents or those relatives in whose house some crime has happened and they have spent their whole life waiting. But they did not get the answer to their questions. Why did all that happen? Who did it? These things are annoying. I am saying all these things because the story, which is today's story, is also like this. A mother waited. For about 50 years, more than 50 but up to 60 years. The wait was, who is the murderer of her innocent 4-year-old daughter? What is his name? How is his face? Why did he kill a 4-year-old girl? Once he will come to know, but this wish was not fulfilled. This mother waited whole life and said goodbye to this world in waiting. The same was the case with the rest of the relatives. The same was the case with the father. No one got the answer as to who was the murderer of that innocent 4-year-old. This is the story of a city where the police were considered among the best police forces in the world at that time. Even a whole team of detectives was prepared to solve this case. But to no avail to settle the matter. Today it has been 75 years, even in these 75 years this case could not be resolved and there was only one hope left to solve this case. If that shoe had been found out of a pair of shoes, then perhaps this case would have been resolved. But it didn't happen. The girl who was killed had a red shoe on her left foot, but the shoe on her right foot was missing. If this shoe was found from wherever, then that shoe could have reached the murderer. That is why in history, everywhere in the media, this case was named Red Shoe Murder Case. This story is from UK Yorkshire. This story is from September 21, 1946. In the city of Yorkshire, there was a 4-year-old girl named Norma Dale. Everything was going well in Norma Dale's parents and family. The work of both parents was going well. Norma Dale playing outside her home on September 21, 1946. Norma Dale's mother went out to get grapes. Norma Dale's father had gone out for some work. Norma Dale was at home by 2:30 in the afternoon. Was playing outside the house. His mother comes out around 2:30 in the afternoon. Norma Dale's mother returns home with grapes. After a while, Norma Dale's mother calls out to her to come now. Norma Dale's mother had to sew some clothes for her. Norma Dale had to be measured to sew clothes, but the 4-year-old girl was so engrossed in the game that she was not ready to come. Norma Dale's mother gets angry, and then Norma Dale's mother scolds her and also makes a prank. She starts crying and then insists she leaves the house. Then starts playing. It was almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Norma Dale's mother felt that she could not hear her playing and speaking. When she looks outside, she sees that Norma Dale is not there. She searches Norma around. She thinks that she will be with her friends, but she does not get there either. For a while she searches all around, then Norma's mother is upset for the first time because this had not happened before. Now the neighbors get this news. Neighbors were also looking for Norma Dale, when Norma Dale's cousins also start looking for her. But until no clue is found, Norma Dale's father also arrives. Norma Dale's father finds out, he also goes to every house to inquire and find. Norma Dale was not to be found anywhere. Searched the whole night, did not find anything. Now instead of the 21st of September, the date comes on the 22nd of September. It had been about 15 to 16 hours since Norma Dale disappeared. During the search the next morning, it was around 10 o'clock in the morning, a child living in the same area who studied in the same school with Norma Dale, the name of this child was Michael Duffy. Michael Duffy was passing by and suddenly he saw the dead body of a girl lying near a roadside bush. He recognized that it was Norma Dale. He comes running screaming and tells his father. Norma Dale's father arrives at the scene with Michael Duffy and sees Norma Dale's body lying in front. There were no marks of injury all over the body. The clothes were complete. There were some marks on the neck. Seeing them, it seems that maybe strangulation was done. And Norma Dale's one-foot shoe was missing. As soon as it came to know about this, mourning spread in the whole area. The place where Norma Dale's body was found was barely 60 yards away from Norma Dale's house. People were searching for last 16 hours. This place was also searched, but till evening and night. Eyewitnesses told that they passed through this area several times, but the body was not seen. The place where the body was found was the home of two people. One Glover and the other Mr. Albert Langer. The body was found 4 feet away near Glover's house. By then the police had started their investigation. When these people were questioned, both of them told that Glover told that he had come in the evening. Came home around 5:30 p.m. and had parked his lorry where the body was found. Glover told that when he parked the lorry there was nothing, and then after that he didn't want to go anywhere, so he never went to the lorry again. Albert Langer told that he had gone out to watch a rugby match with a friend at about 3:15 and he was not there between 2:30 to 3. Then the doubt was removed from both of them because the statements made by both of them were also confirmed. Now the question was, why would anyone kill Norma Dale? What enmity was there with a 4-year-old girl? The police kept on investigating. Incidentally, this news started appearing on the front page in the newspapers there. The postmortem report came. The postmortem report revealed that he was strangled to death. The police continued their investigation. During this investigation, about 1,000 people of the same area were called at different times. He was questioned for a long time. His interviews were done. On 21st and the 22nd of September, the records of each one were checked from 2:30 p.m. till 10:15 p.m. on the next day. Who was where? Not only this, wherever these people lived in that entire area. On about 10 acres of land, all these trees and shrubs, which were forests, were cut because a proof was needed. And the police thought that if Norma Dale's red-colored shoe was found on the other foot, then a lot of evidence could be found through the shoe, so 1,000 people were interrogated. All things happened. No clue was found that matched all his statements. After this, now it happened that this red color shoe should be searched. The forest spread over an area of 10 acres were cut to bushes. Every step of the way was searched. Hundreds of policemen were deployed, but that shoe was not found. Time passed slowly. Later the police again took help from the detective of Scotland. The police of Scotland are very famous all over the world for their investigative work. Yorkshire police seek help from Scottish police. The Scottish police also came. He did a long investigation, searched all the records, but to no avail. No trace of Norma Dale's murderer has been found. During this time Norma Dale had a cousin and he was almost 8 years older than Norma Dale. His name was Alan Powell. Alan Powell is still alive. Now Alan Powell's age is close to 80 years. Alan Powell told that it was a few days after the incident of Norma Dale. He was in his house and at the same time his parents were talking to a person, perhaps that person was his mother's sister or brother. Her parents were talking, they were telling the story of what happened to Norma Dale in the last 10 minutes and they had also named the person who killed Norma Dale. But I can't tell that name to anyone because I don't have proof. Another Norma Dale's cousin, who were in the same area at that time. His name was Brian Dale and his wife's name was Beth. Norma Dale's cousin Brian Dale, and he co-wrote a book with his wife Beth. Named that book One Red Shoe. In this book, they claim that we not only wrote all the things but also wrote the name of the murderer. After this, he also talked to Norma Dale's mother about this book. Norma Dale's mother wanted this book to be published, but whose name she was writing as a murderer in that book. His family came to know about this book and they said that if you have proof then you write it, and if you do not have proof then get ready to fight the case in court. Brian Dale says that he was terrified of it, and then apart from this he said that I started receiving anonymous threats that if the book is published, I will not leave you. We wrote the name in the book but we did not have any proof. Why did you write the book? To this Brian Dale said that we studied this case very closely with the police and with the detectives from the rest of Scotland. We read about 30 files related to the case, and after doing all these things we husband and wife decided to write this book. We have mentioned the murderer in this book. Norma Dale's mother wanted the book to be printed, but the one she was keeping as a murderer threatened her, and in the end, in fear, both of them stopped the book from being published. This book was never printed. Incidentally, in 2003, when all these things were going on, Norma Dale's mother Frances died. Norma Dale's mother lived for nearly 57 years after Norma Dale's murder in the hope that her daughter's murderer might be found. But who is the murderer? Not found. The father also died. 70 years have passed. After 70 years, Yorkshire police suddenly remembered some old cases. Out of this he remembered the case of Norma Dale. So immediately in 2016 Yorkshire police again decided that we will open this case if the family members of Norma Dale have some latest information or proof in this and they give it to us. Because the cousin claimed in a book as the name of the murderer, so the police then talked to Brian Dale with his wife Beth about his book which was not published. After this the police spoke to Alan Powell, who told that my parents were talking and they had also named the person. The police spoke to both of them. Talked to that character in the book also, but did not get any evidence and some clue. Again this case was opened. After 75 years, the Yorkshire police and others said that we know the cases they are opening now. That even if we solve this case, then whatever murderer will no longer be in this world, because when he did the murder, if his age would have been 30 years at that time, then 75 and 30 would have been 105 years. Even if the case is opened, then maybe Norma Dale's murderer will not be found in this world anymore. but thinking that that murderer is not alive. It would also be wrong to leave this case alone. At least the family has the right to know who was the murderer of the 4-year-old girl and mother. Why was he murdered? Neither the murderer is known nor the reason for the murder was being known. But the statement given by these two cousins, they said one thing, then again the investigation was done again. He said that it is not known who the murderer is, but it seems that on September 21, 1946, between 2:30 and 2:45 p.m., the place where Norma Dale was playing. There were houses of many people around, and he saw something in one of those houses which he should not have seen. And because of seeing this thing, he died. Because what should not have been seen and the people living in the house in which they should not have seen, got scared, panicked, and to hide that truth, he killed Norma. The murderer committed the murder by strangulation in the afternoon to save himself, but he got a chance to dispose of the body. Late in the night, he took the body to a distance of 60 yards from his house and threw it. That many times people had visited that place before that, but Norma Dale was not found. Yorkshire police also believe that there was no such animosity before. They also believe that it was a murder that happened suddenly and that it was probably because Norma Dale saw something that she should not have seen. The detective and the police investigated each and every house in this whole area with great intelligence, but there was no success and to no avail. Today is the 75th year, rather it has taken the 76th year. But even today this riddle of one red shoe remains unsolved. Norma Dale's second shoe was not found in these 75 years, neither the murderer was found, nor the reason for the murder was found, nor the motive of the murder was known. There is still an unsolved murder case. Because of its name, this case had come on the tongue of the people of Yorkshire. Because the name was given to this case only because of a missing shoe. The red shoe murder mystery is still a mystery, it could not be solved. In 2016, the case was reopened after 70 years. Now if some new things come in it, then the case may be opened. But on the other hand, the hopes are low because time has passed so much that leave the evidence that the murderer who is now suspected, probably most of them have also left this world, so although there should not be any hope. Do you know that sometimes the case may open suddenly, but at the moment there is no hope for it? So this was the story of a console murder mystery from the Red Shoe Murder Mystery.